of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve, if you bow with me. Father in heaven, thank you for another day. Thank you for the recent rains. Thank you for our community and just opportunity to be here and serve the constituents of Wells County. Just ask you would guide us in wisdom in all we do, and just protect those who are serving us out there and protecting us in our everyday lives. We just thank you and ask you to be with us tonight. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Steve. All right, so we're going to start off just with a quick public hearing, opening up the public hearing regarding the ordinance for local income tax. Does anyone from the crowd have any comment on our local income tax proposal? All right, the meeting's been open and now we'll close it. Thank you. Quickest public hearing ever. All right, regular session, we'll start by approving the minutes that were sent. We had several of them that were included there. The August 28th budget meeting notes, the September 2nd regular session, then the September 3rd budget meeting minutes. I didn't see any corrections on the final ones that you sent out, Lisa. Does anybody have any questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Todd. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vicki. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So the first one is to go through the additionals. There are several, so we'll go through these one by one. I know the sheriff's here if you have any questions, but the first one is for the jail. From general fund is contractual services for $13,200 and general repairs for $20,000. Okay. Yeah, we also, the next one would be lit public safety and for $35,000 for medical expense, and then local match EMA for $8,126.
You're doing additionals and transfers?
Just starting with additionals first. Yep.
I guess the only thing I had on it was, there on the repairs, just things that didn't get caught during the renovation, or just
Yeah, I mean,
kind of going through and finding things, obviously.
we've had several things. I know that out of the jail improvement one, just in particular, we had a compressor go out of the chiller.
Okay.
That's not a cheap thing to replace.
So that wasn't anything new in the renovation?
No.
Just
Usually those general repairs is, things
I got it.
break down, we have a boiler that goes down.
Sure.
Just general repairs to the jail. This year's not been a good year for, especially with all the heat. Seemed like a lot of things related to that wasn't anything to do with HVAC as far as the new stuff.
New stuff, okay.
Chillers, boilers, all those type of things are existing equipment that were there in functioning condition at the time, so.
Okay.
We're running low on the general repairs fund. The contractual services was to get us through the remainder of the year on our IT contracted service, because that was coming to you in chunks for that. That should get us out for the rest of the year. And then, again, the jail improvement one was a compressor that needs replaced. There's two phases to that chiller. The main compressor is what has went out. That's almost $9,000 to fix, get a new compressor in to get it changed out. So, and then we had some bib valves in the laundry room that needed replaced. They were getting corroded and not functioning correctly in the laundry room, so we had to get those replaced.
So that's for the 10,000, down a
That's the
couple lines for the lit correctional rehab facility.
Correct.
Okay. So we got 3 of them there for you. Any other questions for the sheriff? If not, I'll go ahead and bundle these 3 together since they all involved him. So we'll do the jail for contractual services, $13,200, general repairs for $20,000. Under lit public safety, we'll do medical expense for $35,000. The local EMA match for $8,126.60 cents. And then the lit correctional rehab facility, the jail improvements for $10,000.
With the EMA's that's with John here.
Right.
That's a different one.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, we'll ignore John's, we'll have him come up in a minute, sorry. Thanks, Todd.
that's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
So medical expense was under the sheriff?
Yep.
Okay. Didn't see notation there, thanks. So we'll start with those four. Contractual services, general repairs, medical expense under lit, and then the lit correctional facility under jail
I
improvements.
didn't speak on the medical one.
Medical.
Sorry. That's the transfer. The medical one, we, from year to year, we have our contractual services for medical. We have a very small window for medications, off-site services. We get pregnant females that have to go to the OB appointments, somebody has to go to the ER, those type of things. So we have a very small window. This year was not a good year for those type of things in addition to our contractual services for medical. So that's the reason we're asking for additional on that. So,
Is that money that's been expended already?
yes. Yeah, we also have 2 months, 3 months left of the year yet, so we're also projecting a little bit. Obviously, I'll come back to you if
If you need more than what's left over.
we don't use it, but we pretty much, we know what that window is between what's contracted for medical services, contracted, sorry, and what little bit window we have. We're pretty much out, and we're trying to project what, based on how much we've spent per month through October already, and projecting that to get us through the end of the year.
So they give you like an allowance, and is that what's budgeted in here from them? There's so much,
Our medical budget, I don't know off the top of my head how much it is, 100 and some thousand. That's out of lit, correct?
Yeah, so how lit?
So
no, I mean on the contract part, is there like a retainer there that sits and?
what we contract for is to have the medical services within the jail, to have the nurse, the doctor.
And they come to the jail?
Dental, those type of things. But if an inmate has a seizure and has to
Goes
go to the
off-site.
ER,
Okay.
that's
I'm with you.
separate.
I'm with
Now,
you,
those
yeah.
bills get scrubbed down a lot
Yeah.
due to us being a correctional facility, and the charges are minor, but those expenses are all in addition to what we contract.
Yeah, I
through
got you.
medical.
So they're out of your budget.
Yep, if somebody's having an issue, our doctor through the contracted services says they should go see a neurosurgeon for
That's
an
all I
issue,
understand.
then we have to honor that and take.
So if these folks are on Medicaid, Medicaid wouldn't cover this, it still has to go through the jail because they're an inmate?
Correct. Now, our contracted medical services will scrub, part of our contract with them is they work through and get all the discounts, scrub those bills down.
Okay.
Like our local EMS, sometimes, those charges are very minimal, if any. And then a lot of the bills are a fraction of the cost, but they do add up, so.
Sure. All right, thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the additional appropriations for the sheriff?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Steve. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right, John, with EMA, if you want to come on up. We have a additional for EMA of $8,126.60, and then also we'll go ahead and have you talk about the local match as well.
Yes, thank you, and good evening, everyone. So in the past, I brought to your attention that Wells County was awarded the 2023 BRIC grant through the Department of Homeland Security. That is a matching grant for us to match $8,128.60. And today I'm requesting that those funds meet our portion of the grant. That grant is what we will use at the end of this year into next year to have a contract company come in and do our multi-mitigation plan. So that's something that's done every year, or every 5 years, under my understanding. And this year is when it is up. So that grant was applied for prior to me.
Okay.
And was awarded. It was one of those back and forth grants that first they were going to do it, then they weren't. And then we got notification that we did get awarded it, and I've been in contact with Miss Lisa there as often as I received information on it that way, because I kind of look to her for some guidance on this stuff, still being new. But as of tonight, we are in full swing of receiving this grant, as long as we can get you guys' approval, you ladies and gentlemen's approval for the match.
And it's 100% match?
It's a 25% match. So the grant is actually for right around $30,000.
Oh, okay.
Which is the one that we're going to be appropriating now that the money came in down below. So what you're doing is you're asking for an additional for next year, but we're also appropriating the money this year that came in. Am I reading that right, Lisa?
Yes, he's appropriating the grant for the total.
That came in
amount.
for this year,
Yes, and
and then
this is
we're-
his match that's going to be
Transferred into that. Does that make sense?
My apologies if I worded it wrong.
No, it's good. Any other questions for John? If not, do I have a motion to approve both the local EMA match for $8,126.60, and then also the brick grant for $32,432.60?
And this grant's gone through the commissioner's process, correct? Yeah, okay.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Vicki, do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Brandon. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
10 seconds?
Yep.
Just wanted everybody to know that we have hired and filled the deputy director position with Mr. Michael Dewey, and I wanted to bring him in to put a name with a face tonight, so.
Thank you for coming. Nice to meet you.
Welcome, Mike.
All right, the next additional, which is also a little bit different, is for Highway Garage. So the reason I mention this highway, they're kind of somewhat connected. They're asking for a reduction of appropriations for part-time work that you're not going to be needing in the amount of $15,000, to then be able to utilize $15,000 for utilities under the highway administration
Yes,
line item.
that's correct,
So you have those connected together.
correct. So there's going to be an apparent shortfall with our utilities. So in kind of looking at how we can overcome that, I noticed that we had an underutilized line, but it was in a different fund. So I didn't realize at the time that we couldn't move it from that fund to this fund, but Lisa told me that I could do a reduction, though she did mention that it rarely ever happens. So I said, well, if this is something kind of way outside the norm and difficult, she's like, well, we can do it, just not many people do it. So my intent here was to try to show that I am making use of the funds that are appropriated in my annual budget without dipping into
So it's a way to offset it because they're two different line items that have got to be done this way.
Right?
Yeah,
It's the same
two
fund,
minutes.
but different.
Different.
different departments within the fund.
I know Highway has a different arrangement there.
So as much as that makes sense to anybody, the way that the government works, that we have to officially take money out of one pot to go into another is essentially what we're doing. So if there are no other questions, we'll actually go ahead and make it easy and combine them again together. So we'll do the, first one's the additional for $15,000 for utilities from the Highway Administration, and at the same time, we'll approve the reduction of appropriations from Highway Maintenance and Repair for $15,000. Do I have a motion to approve those?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second? Second. Is that Brandon? Yep. All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. All right, then we'll jump over to transfers. And again, both these involve the Highway Department, local road and street. Looks like we're moving 1,000 from drainage, over to 1,000 for other garage and motor supply. It's pretty straightforward. And then the highway maintenance and repair below bridges, $3,100 from one bridge account and $225,000 from another bridge account, down for chip seal, road, CDL, and road conversions. Are there any other questions for Nate around the transfer of the funds? If not, do I have a motion to approve the transfers? So moved. Thank you, Brandon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vicki. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you, Nate. Sheriff, you're back up again?
I think I just have two, right?
Yeah, we have the commissary, and then normally you just give a quick update on the activity.
Oh, I'm up to B.
Yeah, you're on.
You're up to B up, yeah.
Don't I have some transfer?
This is your commissary discussion and your pension review.
Yeah, they're internal,
Yeah,
We're good.
yep. I'm just trying to keep moving along.
Sorry. Thought I was coming up for the transfers.
No.
A few things on the update. I'll give you jail numbers first. As of today, we had 61 inmates in jail. 27 are pretrial circuit, 26 are pretrial superior, 5 DOC, and 0 F6. I did tell the commissioners yesterday, and if Lisa hasn't told you, we finally got paid by DOC for being not paid for almost a year. I think it was over a year, wasn't it? So we receipted in somewhere 150,000 for DOC payments that I think by this week they were supposed to be caught up with the entire state. So we were kind of last on the list apparently, but we finally got that funding, even though it's been receipted on the projected income that I give you, probably just wasn't in the account, so.
Along those lines, real quick, Sheriff, I know that with the lack of F6 inmates, that was why they reduced or took away the $250,000 that they were reimbursing. You have no F6 now. Down the road, if you pick up F6 inmates, will they reimburse down the road?
They would classify.
What's that going to look like going forward if we happen to get F6 inmates?
The courts have a decision to sentence them either to DOC or to the county jail, and we would get paid just like any other DOC at that point, per person. The state, when they were making us house F6s to help offset the prison crowding, that's when it was putting a burden on local jails. That's when they come up, and don't ask me how to explain it because no one ever knew how they come up with the formula of how we were getting $252,000. It was based on an average of F6 inmates at the time, because we used to have 20 to 30 F6 at any given time in our jail. And so when, to help offset that, they started doing the F6 payment instead of just trying to keep track of all the days. That's what they had been doing throughout the years. And now, I think 3 years ago, it was kind of swinging the other way. We were all overcrowded and the prisons weren't. And so now the court systems have the ability to sentence F6s to prison. That's what the judges have been doing. There's no sense of them being in our county jails, except we were continuing to get paid. No one knew that it was, that they were going to quit paying that.
So for now, you don't see that change?
They also claim that they overpaid all of us. And so I was kind of concerned that they were going to take it out of the money they owed us for the last year, but they didn't. If you read it, I know the paper did an article on it, that they forgave any overpayments. So we did get, in my opinion, overpaid, but I'm not going to complain.
Interest.
I mean, it is in the interest of county.
We didn't say that on the record, even though it was on the record.
Yeah, county funds,
Even
so-
though we got overpaid, so.
Yeah, but
Right,
no one
thanks for the
understood the
explanation.
formula, so we don't know.
Okay.
Does that fall in the income generated DOC per diem line? Is that where?
Yes. Yeah, when you see that generated income, DOC per diem, that, once they're sentenced to DOC or sentenced to prison, after 7 days, we start charging per day, every day that they stay here before they go to prison. Because,
But that 150 or whatever that number came in, that's where that's going to fall?
it's a portion of that, yes. I don't know how far, Lisa would know how much they paid up to. I don't know what month they paid up to.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
A majority of
That'll
that
show up.
90,000 that we've generated so far in bills this year, we hadn't been paid since like June of last year. So June through now. So they're pretty close to being
Okay.
paid, as far as maybe a month or two back. But I'll just go ahead and do monthly activity and income. That's there for the month of September. I don't see anything generally out of the ordinary. The average daily population is down compared to last year, from 84 down to 62. We've been pretty consistent on 60s for inmate population, so that's been pretty good. Nothing out of the ordinary. Gun permits is another one where they took that away, the fees for gun permits, but we still have been getting that. Of course, we never have a line item for our ammo, guns, armor, body armor, those type of things, because we've always received fees for gun permits, but the state, to offset that when they went to the free 10-year gun permits, that there was no charge for it. We've consistently, I think for 4 or 5 years now, have gotten the $13,000. That's usually covered what we needed. So someday they may say you're not getting it anymore, and that'll be something we have to generate money for, but until then, I don't know. There's been no chatter of that. Any questions on activity or generated income? Commissary reporting, again, as of last time, the laws changed and we are on quarterly reporting, which I come quarterly unless otherwise noted, so pretty much every time I come, I'm going to bring you a commissary quarterly reporting I've supplied for the months of July through September in the commissary reporting. Nothing out of the ordinary of what we've normally spent out of there is in that, unless anybody's got any questions on that. Something else that has changed, which I wasn't aware of until Lisa come back from an AIC conference, was there was a bill passed, Senate Enrolled Act 144. It is literally 2 paragraphs. It's not very long, but it basically states for us to give a yearly pension update on our pension, on the police pension for the sheriff's office. I did not put the Enrolled Act in there. If anybody wants it, they're welcome to it. I just have one copy of it, but it's not very long. It doesn't really state very many specifics. This is the county police department or the department's designee shall make an annual presentation on the information contained in the report under section 3 of this chapter for the county's immediate preceding fiscal year to the county council. So, which is kind of throwing everybody a little bit because this would take effect on July 1. They do actuary reporting on our pension yearly, which Lisa gets. That's usually done on an annual basis, so what they would have presented for this year wouldn't have been up to date to go in effect in July for us to meet that. So the pension people went ahead and what they would send to Gateway sent an updated version, and that's the pension retirement plan that you guys have in front of you. It's kind of a generic, I mean, it's got all the information in it, but it's what they would send normally with updated figures to Gateway for our pension. There's 2 portions of our pension. One is the police retirement pension that we have where you have a 10-year vested, and you can see that on the first one. That's the Wells County Police Retirement Plan. That's what you guys pay into. It's what we pay into as employees. You have to work there 10 years to be vested. You can kind of see it gives the active employees that are vested. There's 7 vested employees. There's 9 that are not vested. 3 that are vested, but they have separated employment with us, means they worked there at least 10 years, but they've moved on somewhere else. And then we have 13 current retirees that are drawing payments on our plans from there. On page 3, it kind of just shows that you guys, as the employer, contribute about a little over 42% is the county's contribution to the plan. We pay 3% of our pay, goes into that. And so you kind of, I think, I had to call him today because I'm not an accountant to try to understand where we're at. The actuarial assumptions down at the bottom, our pension, back when it was created by council, probably long before most of you sitting here, is one of the things, like a lot of our pension is invested. There's a portion of it that can be in mutual funds, stocks, those type of things, but they have to have their baseline is it has to at least give a 6.5% return on the funding that is in that. On page 4, it kind of just shows the health. I think I brought this up during budget time. Usually they don't like to see your unfunded liability of the pension to be less than 80. We're at about 76.75. I think I gave you guys a sheet during budget time that kind of showed a 15-year where we were at, where sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. Kind of a healthy one is 80%. They would obviously love to see pensions at 100% funded of their unfunded liability. I mean, if we were 100%, just to give an example, if we were 100% funded, we wouldn't pay anything, or you guys would have a very minimal retirement payment every year from year to year. So you're basically, in a sense, kind of making loan payments towards that pension to keep it healthy. They project out, if all the employees work 20 years, retired from the pension, based on their salaries and those type of things, how much of it would be funded at that point, so. Page 5, the net position, you can see the total pension liability is around 9 million. The plan's net position is currently at a little over 7 million for that pension, so is what's in there. On page 6 through 7, it looks like there's a separate benefit plan, and it's still all part of the same benefit plan, but there is a death and spousal benefits. We do have a couple retirees that have passed where those benefits go on to the spouse, depending on the type of retirement plan that they selected. So there's a portion of what you guys pay in, what we pay in, there's a percentage of that goes into that and funds that portion of the plan benefit for survivors of people that were on the plan. So overall, I did talk to Ben Langhammer. They are the actuarial, that's a hard word to say, actuarial company that handles the finances for this, how it's distributed and those type of things. If you ever have any questions on the pension, he said he's more than welcome. If you want to send them to me, I can find out answers for you. He'd be more than glad to answer them, and I can bring that information to you. But so that just kind of in a snapshot, that's where we're at with our pension. It's good, it's healthy. Our merit board oversees we have regular merit board meetings. Merit Investment is who oversees our money and the investments in it. They constantly follow up with me as the sheriff. I inform the merit board when we have meetings. We have a meeting with them, and they keep track of where we're at. If we need to move allocations of certain money based on what the stock market's doing and those type of things to keep our pension healthy. So we're always staying on top of that, and the merit board makes decisions on those type of things based on the restrictions that were set forth by council a long time ago. So, any questions on that?
That's good.
Okay.
Right.
We'll move on so I can get other people going through here. Two quick other things. One, we started our kitchen construction project last Monday. So we're on week 2. We are, I kind of joke, it looks like an archaeological dig in our kitchen right now. There's, we haven't found anything crazy underground, but except a bunch of nasty old worn and rusted pipes. So they're making very good progress. They dug up the old grease trap today. I'm surprised it didn't stink up the whole town. It was pretty nasty. 40-year-old grease trap. I mean, it gets cleaned out, but not any fun. But it's moving smoothly. We're looking, hopefully, this was the funding that you guys approved for that kitchen project and the sewer-related pipes and stuff in there. It was a good call. I sent some pictures to Jeff today of some of that pipe that's underground. The bottoms of them were pretty much rotted out. And so we'll have all new going in there, and then hopefully we're doing all our food off-site currently and delivering it to the jail every day. So we're hoping to have this thing wrapped up within the 30 days. It's projected at 2 to 4 weeks. It ain't gonna be done in 2, I can tell you that. But I do feel pretty good at the progress so far that we might get it done here in 30 days and get back to doing stuff on site again, because it's been quite the feat to get all that set up and do it off-site and deliver food to the jail every day. So unless somebody's got a food truck and wants to come out there and cook barbecue for all of us inmates every day, I think we're doing pretty good with it right now. So and then lastly, we did get renewed for our CHIRP grant, which was the Operation Pullover grant through the Criminal Justice Institute. I did let the commissioners know that was renewed. They run on a federal fiscal cycle of October 1 to September 30th. That is a fully 100% reimbursable grant that we did all of last year. We focused on OWI and traffic enforcement and school bus stop arm violations. With that grant was our main focus, and we're going to continue to do that through this year. So we were awarded another $40,000 to go towards that. They did approve an amendment to the resolution from last year because it was only good for a year because it's paid back at double time to the deputies. So that's all I got unless anybody's got any questions.
Thank you for all the updates, Sheriff.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Commissioner Stringer, if you want to come up for animal shelter. Thank you for coming to give us an update on where things are with the animal shelter.
I don't know if I have an update. I think there's a lot of rumors out there about where it was that we hit a blindside, which isn't the case. If everybody remembers I think it was this year, January of this year, we had budgeted $90,000 for the animal shelter, and we got a bill for $140,000. So I made the call to Scott, he wasn't the mayor then, and the mayor to figure out what happened. They said they had transitioned over and started charging us for benefits, which, if you listen to their meeting the other day, hasn't been done for 25 years. So it was a change on their side. We didn't know about it, went up $50,000. So I started asking questions about what are we getting, talked to a bunch of different people in the county, like Josh Barkley and those guys, about service. Definitely a lack of service from the animal shelter when it comes outside of the city. So the push was, what are we getting for our money in return? So I'm not going to say the communication was great, but there wasn't a lot of communication back. So as the commissioners, we said we can't fund that until we have something going on. And it's actually spurred a really good conversation. I met with the mayor Friday, talk about what we can do. And the agreement right now that we're talking about is, as long as there's a formal review, we're trying to hire a consultant that'll come in, do a formal review, look at what's not working, because, to give Tammy credit, when she was the chief, she was an animal lover, and it worked very well. We had coverage all over the county. People were happy with it. We had a change in leadership. We had a change in the way the animal shelter was looked at. I think if you ask Scott, there's always a joke of, hey, why don't you take it over as a sheriff, and we'll let it go. There's not a want there. So I've fielded questions from the Friends of the Animal Shelter, I think it's called Friends of the Shelter, and a few other independent people that are interested. Blake Features went out and looked at best practices at other counties. And the agreement between us and the city right now is if there's a board of at least 3, somebody from the city, somebody from the county, and an independent, a third-party review, and looking at ways to do it better, and coverage for the county, then we'll look at paying it. But if it stayed the same way, and I think this is good for the community, not bad, is that it brought it to a head that if we'd have just continued to pay, this year it's projected to be, our share is supposed to be $180. So it's going to go, it will have doubled in 2 years. And to their defense, it's not doubling, they're just truing up the salaries and the benefits in there. But for the county, it's a doubling of pricing. And when we talk about going back, we've done it for 25 years. Yes, we have done it for 25 years. But that wasn't part of it. And they said, well, you got a discount. Well, we didn't bill. It was the city's responsibility to come up with, here's your bill, and we paid half. So I think that's worked out, and I know Scott's working on it hard now. The mayor is working on it hard now to make sure that we have it set up, so we have that understanding. But I also want to roll that into some other things that the shelter was thrown in with 3 different items, right? It was saying that we were, and I'm not going to say names, but we were accused of being antagonistic to the city because we cut funding for the fireworks. We said when we gave them the $800,000 we weren't going to do maintenance fee for the pool, and then this came up. We're not being antagonistic. If you go back and you look at the record, when we said no to the fireworks was when the jail came up, and we have an unknown amount to fix underground stuff at the jail, and expenses were piling up. And then we also had Ossian and Markle and everybody asking for the same match for the fireworks. Let's consolidate that and do it at the city level, or I don't know where we do it, but at a community level and bring everybody together. And actually, when we said no, we got more donations, the fireworks happened anyway. We're very clear on the pool that when you get the $800,000, that we weren't interested in doing a maintenance fee on that. We want it to be proactive to where they bring a profit in. If we're going to put that many millions of dollars into a public utility or a public event or facility, let's make sure that it can be profitable. And Scott, again, is working, I've got him set up with some people that do that outside of the state, but have very profitable parks and recs, and he's working on that too to see if we can get it. But I don't want it to be any idea that we're fighting the city. That's not the case. But we all know that we're down, $560,000 in lit this coming year, maybe more than that. So tightening the belt and asking that things get covered. And I had a pretty frank conversation with the mayor, because again, in their meeting, they said, remember, we pay for the building, it's our building, and we don't charge for the PD chief's salaries and all that. We can flip that around, right? The jail is funded by the county, and they do pay a third of the taxes, but it's funded by the county. The road, or the community corrections is funded by the county. Probation's funded by the county. The treasurer's office, the auditor's office, the billing office. So I don't think by any means that we're shorting anybody. And I'm not saying we get shorted. I just want to make sure that what we pay for is a service we get paid for. There's plenty of calls. I think, Brandon, you said you had a call once, and the first question was, are you in the city or are you in the county? It shouldn't matter. It's a shared service that we've got to figure it out. And again, I give kudos to the mayor that, we sat down face to face and had some hard discussions, and we got some things going. So let's see where we end up. It's not the last minute. I keep telling them that. It doesn't refund till July or January. It's October. We got plenty of time to work through it. Is it outside the budget cycle? Yeah, a little bit, but it's because maybe I wasn't listening loud enough and he wasn't listening loud enough, and it got hung up there. So I'll take those bruises, but we're moving along, I think.
Well, thank you for the overall update, which you're working on and continuing to work on. So, any questions for Commissioner Stringer?
Thank you for sitting down and talking with Scott and getting that solved. I think we got to get away from, there's other things.
Communication.
We can talk about. There's so many rumors and innuendos out there and accusations that it's, like I had called Scott and he called me back with travel. We missed each other, but just sit face to face, talk those things out, figure out what's going on, and move on. And for the commissioner side, if you hear those or you got questions, me and Brandon talk all the time, me and Seth talk all the time, Steve, just call and ask. Don't go with what you're hearing. Call and get the facts.
And we do have so many things that we're working jointly with the city, with ASEAN, that we have to keep that communication going forward, or the cost would just skyrocket if everybody decided we're going to take our ball and go home and do it on our own. It just, for a county our size, we have to all work together. So I appreciate your efforts there.
I don't think Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's even an ordinance for the animal shelter. It's a resolution signed back in like 96. And there's this idea that we only paid $40,000. That's not true. It started around 60 and went to 90, but it's doubled. By the time this time comes, it'll double. So we need to also step back and say, why is it doubled? I guess it truly hasn't, because they're putting in fringe benefits, but still, it's escalated to a point that we need to understand, what can we do? Why aren't we using friends of the shelter? Why aren't we using volunteers? Why aren't we doing best practices with other counties? Let's not be in a bubble here and do it on our own.
And I think going forward for a lot of these ventures we're going to have to, because I bet this is only the beginning of seeing shortfalls of revenue coming our way, that if we aren't going to be more efficient with some of these agencies, we're going to have bigger problems down the road. So
it's a fight to get your portion of the taxes that come in. I think that we don't need it to be a contentious fight. It needs to be open discussions and figure out what's the best for the constituents, not who gets to decide where it goes.
Right. Thank you, Commissioner, for coming. Any other questions for Jeff? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner.
All right, the next couple things is adopting the 2026 budget for the county, solid waste, and Rock Creek Conservancy. Unless anybody has any last-minute things on that front, can I have a motion to approve the 2026 budgets again for Wells County Solid Waste and Rock Creek Conservancy.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Vicki. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And by the way, thank you for everybody here for making this budget. It was a tough one to get through, having to cut over $500,000 out of it, so I appreciate everyone's effort and the meetings to get that done. Rena, if you want to come up, we have a ordinance for Recorder's Perpetuation Fund.
Good evening.
Good evening.
By statute, Indiana Code, I have to come before you once a year to have an ordinance to use our Recorder's Perpetuation Fund for my part-time girl. She averages in between 22 to 25 hours a week, just depending. And so these are the figures, the clerical assistance and the Social Security for a total of $24,938. That is based on the maximum hours she can work without being full-time.
We do this every year, right, Lisa?
I'm curious, Serena, I didn't dig up last year. Is this the same as it was last year, or is it going up?
It was, it's a little lower.
Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't dig it up.
Because we didn't use the full amount
Okay.
last year. I took her hourly rate and increased it 3%.
So it's pretty much the same word.
It's a little bit lower.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions for Rena? If not, do I have a motion to approve Wells County Council Ordinance Number 2025-09?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Todd. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Vicki. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, Rena.
Thanks, Rena.
Thanks, Serena.
The last one to vote on here is what we just did with our public hearing about 40 minutes ago, and that is to officially approve Ordinance 2025-07, modifying the local income tax rates for Wells County. Do I have a motion to approve Ordinance 2025-07?
So moved.
Is that Steve?
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the next thing is Lisa sent out the list of meeting dates for 2026. They're also in your packet. Councilmember Elzey got a hold of me, and there are two dates where there's a little bit of a conflict. They happen to fall on the Wednesday after the election, which is on a Tuesday, to just see if we would be able to move those meetings up to 5:30 PM instead of 7.
On those Wednesday dates?
Yes. So that'd be May 6th and November 4th,
You said 5:30?
5:30 PM. Now, do we officially vote on the calendar for next year? We don't, do we actually have to vote on it?
Yes.
Okay. So with that adjustment, moving those two dates to 5:30 PM, do I have a motion to approve the meeting schedule for 2026?
I'll make that motion, Seth.
Thank you, Scott. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Brandon. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Yes, I haven't had a chance to study my calendar to see if that works.
Give me, if we have to revise it, we'll do it next meeting, Steve.
Okay.
So, all right, do I have a motion to conclude the meeting? So moved. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Scott. All in favor?